Hello, this is the recording for IS323 Week 7. This week in the discussion, the initial post is due Wednesday and 2 replies due Sunday. You're to answer the 2 elements that are in the discussion. Note there is a discussion for Week 8. Please wait until Monday to post it. It's actually due on Tuesday though. Week 7 assignment is due Sunday. Complete the Willett Creek Case Problem 2 from Tutorial 5. You're going to zip all the files and just submit the one zip file. And you're going to be filling in these sections, and you're going to create a desktop version and a mobile version. The final is due Sunday and may be taken only once. Know the difference between a WAN and a LAN on page 4. Text-based browsers were incapable of displaying images. XHTML version 1 is a reformulation of HTML 4.0. Know what are employed to send directives to browsers regarding how a page should be rendered. Page 9. Markup validators look at the doc type to determine which rules they should check the document against. Know how to mark an extended quote, that's page 27. Know the text level elements, this is on page 27, figure 1-16. The type equals text / CSS represents the style sheet language. Know another way to insert a special symbol, that's on page 33. Know the attribute to align text on the page, page 36. To link to an anchor, you would use the href attribute. When referencing a file located in a different folder than the link tag, you must include the path for the file. Be able to interpret relative path names, that's page 61. What is a set of rules that governs how information is exchanged? Page 64. The FTP servers can store files that internet users can download or transfer to their computer. Map elements can be placed anywhere within the body of the web page because they are not actually displayed by the browser, but used as references for mapping hotspots to inline images. The Mail-to protocol is used to open users' email client and address a new message. When linking videos, you should specify size info, type of video, and tips for viewing. Know what URL represents in the code written there. Style comments can also be added to embedded style sheets as long as they are placed between the opening and closing style tags. Browsers support 5 generic font groups. Those are on page 115. What is the tint of the color? Page 99. The color scheme that uses 2 hues close to one another on the color wheel, in which one color is the dominant color and the other color is a supporting color used only for highlights and nuance, is called what? Page 104. A typeface in which a small ornamentation appears at the tail end of each character is called what? Page 115. The web font format that supports Internet Explorer is embedded open type. What would you use the pseudo classes for? Page 149. Know how to apply a style to all elements in a document. Appendix C1. The CSS box model is composed of a series of concentric boxes containing element content. Know what keyword tells the browser to scale the image in order to cover all the background while still retaining the proportions of the image. That's on page 269. Floating an element takes the element out of the normal flow of the document and positions it along the left or right edge of its containing element. Know how to set the border width. That's on page 273. The width taken up by an element is calculated as total width equals content width plus padding plus border width. Know which pseudo-element can be used to create a drop cap, page 218. Know what the scroll value of the overflow does, page 240. Know which property allows you to define a rectangular region through which an element's content can be viewed, that's page 243. The text decoration style can be used to make the underline not appear for links. An HTML table element can mark table header, table row, and table caption. By default, most table borders are displayed in two shades of gray that create a three-dimensional effect. A pre-formatted text table contains only text, evenly spaced on the web page in rows and columns. Know the table frame types shown in the picture. So here are the names of the different ones, and here are the actual table frame values. So 1 is a box, which means that all the outside borders are showing. 2 is above, meaning only the above border shows. 3 is below, meaning only the bottom shows. 8 sides, the top and bottom borders are shown. Top and bottom. Then LHS means the left side only, RHS the right side only, V sides the vertical side, so each of the side borders, and then void is where no borders show. By default, cell text is placed in the middle of the cell, aligned with the cell's left edge. If two borders have the same width but different styles, double borders have the highest priority. Know how to mark table row groups, that's page 459. Recognize a selection list and know what it is, page 531. Know what element is used to mark a form, page 504. Know the difference between a hard wrap and a soft wrap, page 542. Know the difference between server-side validation and client-side validation, page 559. How would you allow customers plenty of room to enter input information, page 541. Each measurement of a sound wave is called a sample. Sample resolution is sometimes referred to as bit depth. An audio clip should provide users with important information that cannot be conveyed in any other way. In the Object tab, the Type attribute indicates the type of data to be embedded. ActiveX controls are identified using the Class ID attribute. The loop equals loop attribute of the video element automatically restarts the video clip when it is finished playing. Internet Explorer inserts the Flash Shadow Player as an ActiveX control. A language called Oak was modified in 1995 and renamed Java. In the Applet tab, the Code attribute specifies the file name of the Java class file. If you want to make an interactive animation, create an SWF file. Know what inset keyword does when working with the box shadow style, page 291. Internet Explorer filters can be applied only to objects that have a defined layout on the page. If no angle is specified, the browser determines the gradient direction based on the location of the starting point. Know how to create a graphic border, page 282. Speech media device does not use the characteristic paged. Know the difference between widows and orphans, page 418. To define styles under landscape orientation, use the @media rule, setting the orientation to landscape. How are graphic images sliced? Page 280. Web pages are text files written in HTML. Know how text level elements appear? Page 28. You can quickly change an HTML document to an XHTML document just by altering the first 3 lines of code. The top element in the hierarchy is the HTML element, which contains all of the other elements within the HTML file. What is the home page, Appendix E1? What design principles apply to the protected section of a website, Appendix E5? A client-side image map is an image map that is defined within the web page and handled by the web browser running on the user's computer. Know the difference between color values and color names, page 97. One approach to retaining the consistency of web page text is to use relative units, which are expressed relative to the size of other objects within the web page. The @font face rule is one example of a CSS @rule that specifies a command or directive that controls how browsers interpret and run the contents of the CSS style sheet. What should you use a grid for? Page 222. What is a drop cap page? 218. Recognize the values of the overflow property, page 240, figure 3-59. The z-index property stacks overlapping objects with the highest z-index value on the top of the others. Decreasing the width of a table's border to 1 pixel will not remove the border between the cells. As long as you have a border around the entire table, you will always have a line separating individual table cells. Border type is either separate, the default, or collapse, page 444. Although a single web page can contain more than one form, the most common approach is to create a single form in a web page. When the input tag is used to create radio buttons, all buttons share the same name. The post method sends the data in a separate data stream. Video has become one of the most popular methods of sharing information on the web. It is a mistake to assume that a higher bit rate always results in a better quality video. The number of samples taken per second is called the sampling rate. Internet Explorer supports a technology called ActiveX to play embedded media. When working with the Internet Explorer drop shadow filter, a direction of 45 is used for shadows located in the upper right corner, 135 for the lower right shadow, 225 for lower left shadows, and 315 for upper left shadows. Style sheets cascade through the media types in the same way they cascade through a document tree. When working with the box shadow style, the color value can be placed either before or after the shadow offsets and dimensions. There is no HTML attribute to change the border style, but many browsers allow you to change the color by adding the border color attribute to the table element. Know how to organize selection lists into distinct groups, page 535. placeholder automatically disappears as soon as the user selects the input box. Know the input type that hides the input text, page 509. What is the window called where web pages are displayed? Page 352. By default, browsers display tables without table borders. By default, browsers offset ordered and unordered lists from the surrounding text. These are the references. So many of those quotes are from different books, most of them by Carey. Here are the URLs to those different lists. That's all I have for this week. If you have any questions, please let me know.